Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to hear from the guest of honor.
Good night.
And although we've been kidding him for the past 55 minutes very good-naturedly, he's been called a great humanitarian. That is, if you take the words of the Krupp family. I would like you to meet our guest of honor. And tonight, Kraft does salute Don Rickles, and it's only fitting that a cheese company would sponsor a dinner for a rat. Ladies and gentlemen, I present, most affectionately, Mr. Don Rickles.
There have been, ladies and gentlemen, many exciting nights in my career. Tonight I will not count. I would like to say good evening. Good evening is rolling. Kraft Music Hall has been kind enough to honor me tonight. I've asked for a dais, and unfortunately I got guys that happen to be in the neighborhood. There were 3 whiners hanging out in the highway going, hey, how about it? They washed them up and put them here. But I kid. First of all, we'll go from left to right. Dick Cavett, I say this honestly. I was on ABC, and I'm fed up with them as I'm fed up with you. You have a wonderful nighttime show opposite Merv Griffin and my dear friend Johnny Carson, and they plan to beat you up. And why, Dick? Because you're catching on. Here's an old guy, 8 years on the air. This man, Johnny Carson, sitting to my right. He said to me, beat him up. I say to you, Dick, really, you wrote for Johnny Carson, and today you have your own show on another network opposite this man, and you're hurting him. Now that, to some people, doesn't sound like humor, and I can tell by the reaction.
Sure doesn't to me.
Sure doesn't to you. 7 years ago, you were hanging around ABC with a little game show going, hit the buzzer and win a trip.
And you were a contestant.
And I was a contestant.
Well, he was the buzzer.
Look at this, how the whole day has turned on me. And it's true.
What's true?
Ah, shut it. Penny, once in a while, move your lip. How many big stars do I know wear the clip-on bow tie with the little rust on the shirt? But I say tonight, my dear friends, and I quote the words of a great man, a great prophet, Eliezer, who said, if thy love thyself, thy be honored at thy dinner. Thy dinner be thee. This I know, thyself. I gotta get this thing fixed. And to you, George C. Scott, I skip you, Milton, because you are my idol. I say from my heart, George C. Scott, as Patton, you made a fool of yourself. George C. Scott stood on the screen in the great emotional picture starring George C. Scott and Carl Malden, who you objected to. When you remember when you called me and said, why is he on the screen? I could play his part and do it great. And he stood there. That's right, Alan. Laugh your way to stardom. Your wife is leaving you. But I said, hey, George, I'm talking. And I kid him about Patton. And I predict he will win an Academy Award. I'll step out on a limb. No. What is this, a luncheon? George C. Scott, who said in a great scene, I'll never forget it, when all the men, listen! You can learn, George! Sitting here tonight like you're Moses? You're so great, make the crowd disappear. I don't know who you are, kid in the front, but you're getting on my nerves. I just saw a little kid with a drip-dry shirt with no stay in the collar. What's your name, kid? Take your time. What's your name? Wrong! What's your last name, Jim? You better answer me or the general will wipe you out! What's your last name, Jim? Take your time. Look on your underwear. Maybe it's stenciled. What's your last name, Jim? What? Jim Mulholland? I'm in the business 20 years. I don't have a joke for a dumbbell that's named Mulholland. What are you, a road? Hope you make a left and go right into yourself. Brilliant. But to you, George C. Scott, I say from my heart, don't wave the flag of surrender. You are a big star. Be secure. Tell these people what you told me before the show went on. You don't need this. You are a big man, and you're a great artist. I quote the words of John Barrymore, the late, great John Barrymore, who said, "Let the light leave the spot to thyself. Let thyself be thy spot." You know what worries me? George C. Scott's going, that's true. And to you, Henny Youngman, I say from my heart, you're old. Gotta be put in a home, you're gonna hurt somebody. Can't sit in the room and rock away with the Farina spoon going, wow! And then there is a man named Alan King. And Alan King is a great valedictorian. Is that the word? I ask you like you know. Alan King, who said to me in his beautiful country estate, "Notice how the hunting dogs bite your wife." He's the type that hangs around the health club and wants to pull off your towel. Is this too fast for you, Mulholland? Why did I put one dumbbell right in the front? I'm rolling and this kid's going, pull off the towel. Engine room 1/3 ahead. You're laughing, yeah, John? And Chet Huntley just took your wallet. I didn't forget you, Milton. Don't be depressed. Milton's sitting there going, he forgot me. I never forget the King. You're the greatest living comedian of our time. Did he buy that? Anyway. Look at the police officer from New York City watching the show. When you get a chance, check the city. The policeman standing there going, I'm a cop. And the woman goes, where's my purse? The cop's in the show. Check with him. I kid you, officer. My luck. This will be the dummy that stops me outside. All right, let's hear it again, fella. Let's hear that joke about the cop watching the show. My dear friends, we come to Chet Huntley. Good night, David. Good night, Chet. You're boring. Chet, what is your heritage? Irish?
Scotch.
Scotch. You're cheap. Tell me one thing. You're a Scotchman and be proud of it. When you march, What's under the kilt? I quote the words of a great Scotchman, Harry Arman. Look at this, George C. Scott. Harry Arman? He said, I do not care where you come from, but if the Highland come from the crate come from the Highland.
True.
It's true? I made it up. You haven't heard of it. Chet, seriously, good luck in your retirement. You have been a great asset to the news. Really, you have. And you're the only one I will be serious about, because you've done great things. You've brought the public honesty, which we need in America today, and I thank you for that on behalf of all of us. Last but not least, Johnny Carson.
Oh.
Before I speak of Milton, Johnny Carson said to me, make me last. Make a big fuss over me. Who cares what happens to Milton? And Milton, he's right. Who cares? Well, Johnny Carson gave me my start in television on the late night shot, and I'm very grateful to you. Johnny, I say this from my heart. I've been proud of you, and I've enjoyed working with you. And I say this very honestly. Don't ever hang around me. I'll be with you. I didn't forget you, Milton. And last but not least, one of the great troopers, a man that was around with all the greats, Sophie Tucker, rest her soul, Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor, and just recently worked with the great Harry Lyman. This wonderful man, Milton Berle, came up to me and said, I'm Milton Berle, a great star, a great performer. And I said, I know, and he tapped for me. Tap danced about an hour and a half. I said, go away, old man. Milton, you're a great star. I spoke to the Will Rogers home, and we have your room. But I kid about Milton Berle. Really. There are many great artists, and we all know this. Not to be maudlin, is that the word? Good, they'll buy that. Not to be maudlin or hypertentious.
Well, that's hepatitis.
Who cares? I say to you, Milton, what do I say to Milton? But I say to, good night, Milton. But what I say to you, Milton, there are many great performers. I thank you, Milton, for starting me and making me feel important, because that is so beautiful. And you're a great artist and a great showman. I mean that. Now, to all of you, and to Kraft Music Hall, to Mr. Johnny Carson, and to the wonderful guests on the dais, to you people in the world of television, thank you for making me feel a little bit important. But I promise you, I will not let it go to my head and forget my values. Thank you.